Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, and this is your AM Update.
Voting for Zohran is not, we're going to vote for Zohran and just let him do whatever the hell he wants when he gets to City Hall.
It's Election Day, and New York City mayoral frontrunner Zohran Mamdani gets a warning from a radical and influential backer. A new report reveals all the ways in which Democrats are struggling post the 2024 presidential election.
And they're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
President Trump puts the Nigerian government on notice over reports of Christian persecution. And Team Trump swoops in to help Dilbert cartoon creator and all-around brilliant guy Scott Adams in his fight against cancer. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update. When customers are walking through the aisles of their local Walmart, they're not just picking up groceries or supplies. They are supporting American businesses and their communities. The real story is what's behind the label. With over 2/3 of the products Walmart buys made, grown, or assembled right here in the U.S., buying local is not just stocking shelves, it's about strengthening communities. Because of that commitment, Walmart invested $350 billion in U.S. manufacturing, helping American companies like Fisher & Weezer Specialty Foods, a local Texas business, expand their operations in Fredericksburg, Texas, hire more people as well, and bring their Texas-grown peach jam to a national market. Their story is just one example of how Walmart's U.S. manufacturing investment is supporting over 750,000 American jobs. Businesses across the country are empowered to sell more, hire more, and help their communities grow. From farms to factories to final shopping carts, learn how Walmart is fueling the future of U.S. manufacturing at walmart.com/America at work. It's Election Day, and no race in the country is being watched more closely than the New York City mayoral election. Many across the country wondering whether the city is actually going to elect a Muslim socialist mayoral candidate, Zohran Mamdani, as mayor of New York. The final Atlas Intel poll of the race showing Democrat candidate Mamdani leading with 43.9% of the vote, followed by independent and former Democratic New York Governor Andrew Cuomo at 39.4%, with Republican Curtis Sliwa trailing at 15.5%. Cuomo closing the gap to just 4.5 points with days to go. Still, Polymarket predicting with 91% certainty that Mamdani will win. In a late twist, Elon Musk throwing a last-minute endorsement behind Cuomo on X, quote, "Remember to vote tomorrow in New York. Bear in mind that a vote for Curtis is really a vote for Mumdummy, or whatever his name is. Vote Cuomo." Meanwhile, one of the themes of Mamdani's campaign surfaces again, difficulty locking down high-profile Democrat endorsements, including that of former President Barack Obama. The New York Times reporting the former president spoke with Mamdani by phone, praising his campaign, offering to act as a sounding board, but stopping short of offering his endorsement. On Sunday, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who waited until just before early voting began to endorse Mamdani, clarifying to CNN that the candidate is not the future of the Democrat Party. Mamdani responding on CNN.
Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning if you're the future of the Democratic Party. He said no.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get through the tape of the future of 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
The candidate kicking off the final day of campaigning with an early morning march across the Brooklyn Bridge, then delivering brief remarks to his supporters.
As New Yorkers in every borough contend with an affordability crisis that he promised to fix but has only exacerbated, let City Hall, with our compassion, our conviction, and our clarity, be the light that our city and our nation so desperately need. Late last night, Andrew Cuomo received Donald Trump's endorsement. If elected as mayor, our city will only descend deeper into a darkness that has forced too many of our neighbors to flee and made it impossible for working people to live lives of dignity.
Speaking of fleeing the Big Apple, a new poll from JL Partners for the Daily Mail finding 9% of New Yorkers say they would definitely leave the city if Mamdani wins, nearly 1 million people. Another 25% say they would at least consider leaving. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, chiming in on X, quote, "After the polls close tomorrow night, I will impose a 100% tariff on anyone moving to Texas from New York." The New York Post reporting earlier this week, there's been a mad dash to Connecticut. Homes in Greenwich, nearly impossible to buy, no inventory, as wealthy New Yorkers get out of Dodge with Mamdani eyeballing their money. Multimillionaire Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary predicting last week on Fox Business, Mamdani will be forced to moderate his views once in office.
You may not like the message, but free chicks, free money is a great message. And it always works, and he will be mayor. Then he's going to have to come to people like me and say, hey, lend me $30 million for low-end housing. I want you to give me the debt portion, the equity portion of that building. And I'm going to say,
what are you going to say?
I say, I can't, because nobody will fund that because you have rent control on a pre-construction building. Have you thought that through on policy yet?
Time will tell, but Mamdani's own base is already warning him not to drift to the center. Mamdani ally and Islamic activist Linda Sarsour saying on a Sunday Instagram live session she will hold Mamdani accountable if he fails to deliver. Sarsour already raising objections to Mamdani's decision to keep career cop Jessica Tisch in her post as NYPD commissioner if he is elected, fearing there will be resistance to shuttering the Strategic Response Group, or SRG. That's a specialized group within the NYPD dedicated to responding to citywide mobilizations, including anti-Israel protests. Here is Sarsour on Sunday on Instagram.
I don't have a problem with holding people accountable. So voting for Zohran is not, we're going to vote for Zohran and just let him do whatever the hell he wants when he gets to City Hall. Our job as a movement is we have to hold whoever goes to City Hall accountable. You know, I'm not going to lie. I wasn't really happy about the news that he was going to keep Tisch on for the NYPD. So I'll just say that. So I'm basically saying to myself, if Zohran's going to be the mayor of New York City, and he's going to shut down the Strategic Response Group, the SRG, which is what Zohran has committed to. So if Zohran tells Tisch, we're shutting down the SRG, we're going to do certain things in a certain way, that means that Tisch has to execute the vision of the mayor. Now, if she doesn't do that and goes against the mayor, then that's when we're going to have to go to Zohran and be like, you definitely made the wrong decision here. What are you going to do to hold your police commissioner accountable to the plan?
Polls close at 9 p.m. tonight. We will have full coverage of this on Wednesday morning. In the wake of the Democrats' 2024 election wipeout, losing every swing state and the popular vote, a new postmortem funded by a left-leaning nonprofit, Democracy Matters, paints an even bleaker picture for the party heading into 2026. The results of the 9-month, 21-state research project finding the party seriously struggling with working-class voters, as 6 in 10 have a negative view of the party, believing it to be, quote, woke, weak, and out of touch. According to the report reviewed by Politico, the 3,000 working-class voters surveyed, quote, can't name what Democrats stand for, other than being against Trump. The report also finding Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, despite drawing large crowds at their Fight Oligarchy tour, may not be utilizing the most effective messaging. According to Politico, in the report, their surveys found, quote, a candidate focused on taking on big corporations and the wealthy received 43% support, while a candidate, quote, focused on fixing the economy so those who work hard can get ahead earned 52%. Co-chair of Democracy Matters, Mitch Landrieu, telling Politico, quote, not one person in all of our focus groups mentioned the word oligarchy. The takeaway, says Democratic pollster Molly Murphy, who contributed to the project, is, quote, working class voters need to know Democrats respect people who build wealth, and we are not looking to punish them. The report finding 2 key areas of weakness for Dems, immigration and transgender rights. From the report, quote, don't say Republicans need to stop attacking LGBT people. Instead, say everyone, Republicans and Democrats, need to stop obsessing over this issue. 1/3 of independents, according to the findings, would be, quote, much more likely to support Dems if they said, quote, transgender women, meaning men, should not play in women's sports. Coming up, President Trump warning Nigeria, protect persecuted Christians in your country or else. And an update on Dilbert creator Scott Adams's cancer battle. Lots of love from Team Trump. More people today are looking beyond the standard approach when it comes to their health, especially in the fight against cancer. Two medications you've probably heard about, ivermectin and mebendazole, are being researched for their off-label potential to support cancer treatment. Studies suggest they may help inhibit cancer cell growth and make certain therapies more effective. All Family Pharmacy makes access to these trusted medications simple. Every order is reviewed by a licensed doctor for safety, and prescriptions are provided when appropriate. It's a pharmacy that believes you should have the right to choose what's best for your health and not be limited by politics or big corporations. All Family Pharmacy offers ivermectin, mebendazole, and over 200 other essential medications, all shipped straight to your door. You want to check with your doctor, of course. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Megyn and use code Megyn10 to save 10% on your order. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Megyn to learn more. President Trump over the weekend putting the Nigerian government on notice, writing Friday afternoon on Truth Social, quote, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern, but that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, something must be done. According to an August report by the International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law, in the first 7 months of this year in Nigeria, more than 7,000 Christians were killed. Between 2009 and 2023, that group estimating at least 52,000 Christians were killed, with more than 20,000 schools and churches attacked. The groups responsible include Islamic terrorist group Boko Haram, its offshoots, and Fulani militants, a large Muslim group in the region. Mr. Trump directing U.S. Congressman from West Virginia Riley Moore, a leading voice against the persecution of Christians in Nigeria, along with House Appropriations Chair Tom Cole, to look into the matter and report back. The label, country of a particular concern, is a legal designation the president may apply to governments found to be, quote, engaged in or tolerating particularly severe violations of religious freedom. Under the designation, the State Department may impose a range of penalties, including cutting or reducing U.S. aid assistance and blocking U.S. loans to violating countries. The first Trump administration designating Nigeria a country of particular concern in December 2020. The Biden administration reversing the designation in 2023 in an apparent gesture of goodwill ahead of a visit from then Secretary of State Antony Blinken. The Nigerian president responding to President Trump on X, quote, the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality, nor does it take into consideration the consistent and sincere efforts of the government to safeguard freedom of religion and beliefs for all Nigerians. Hours later, President Trump posting to Truth Social, quote, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. On Air Force One Sunday, the president not ruling out U.S. boots on the ground.
On Nigeria, just wanted to ask you, do you envisage U.S. boots on the ground or airstrikes?
Could be. I mean, a lot of things I envisage, a lot of things. They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world, very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
Some dispute the characterization of the violence as religious persecution. CNN reporting, quote, the reality on the ground, experts and analysts say, is a more complex and nuanced one. Both Christians and Muslims, the two main religious groups in the country of more than 230 million people, have been victims of attacks by radical Islamists. However, a report from the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa finds the violence in Nigeria disproportionately victimizes Christians. Quote, the data shows that more Nigerian Christians were victims of violence than Nigerians holding other religious affiliations. Amongst the 30,880 civilians killed from October 2019 to September 2023, the number of Christians killed was 16,769, while the number of Muslims killed was 6,235. More from the report, quote, in the 4-year reporting period, the actual ratio of Christians to Muslims killed was 2.7 to 1. When taking into account the size of the Christian and Muslim populations in the individual states where attacks occurred, the proportional ratio of Christians to Muslims killed rises to 6.5 to 1. President Trump's initiative receiving an unexpected endorsement from rapper Nicki Minaj, who posted on X, quote, reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror, and it's dangerous to pretend we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. Beloved cartoonist and Dilbert creator Scott Adams facing a critical moment in his fight against metastatic prostate cancer, posting a dire call for help to X early Sunday morning, quote, on Monday, I will ask President Trump via X to help save my life. My healthcare provider, Kaiser of Northern California, has approved my application to receive a newly FDA-approved drug called Pluvicto, but they have dropped the ball in scheduling the brief IV to administer it, and I can't seem to fix that. I am declining fast. The post continuing, quote, I will ask President Trump if he can get Kaiser of Northern California to respond and schedule it for Monday. That will give me a fighting chance to stick around on this planet a little bit longer. It is not a cure, but it does give good results to many people. Adams first announcing his diagnosis in May, shortly after former President Joe Biden announced his diagnosis with the same type of cancer. Within hours of Adams's Sunday announcement, the response building rapidly. MAGA world rallying online, amplifying his plea, and working every channel to assist. By Sunday afternoon, the appeal making it all the way to the president's desk. Mr. Trump responding simply on Truth Social, quote, on it. Monday morning on Rumble, Adams describing the behind-the-scenes events.
I was contacted by Don Jr., who was literally in Africa. He's in Africa on a Sunday, and Don Jr. is calling me and saying, Leah, I'm on this. Yeah, my father wants me to get this done. Then Bobby Kennedy calls me. Bobby Kennedy calls me. Like, what can I do? What's the situation? Dr. Oz calls me. Dr. Oz, what's the situation? How can I help? Oh, my God. And then you may have seen that President Trump, best president ever, he posted my message to him that was on X yesterday. It was a public message. And he just said, on it, on it.
Meanwhile, Kaiser Permanente releasing a statement, quote, Mr. Adams's oncology team is working closely with him on the next steps in his cancer care, which are already underway. Adams sharing the latest Monday afternoon on X, quote, update, getting Pluvicto, the cancer drug, tomorrow via Kaiser, Northern California. The Trump administration works fast. Amazing. For context, I waited months for the drug, like everyone else, but I think my files got misplaced or something, and that glitch just got corrected. Not sure. Good luck, and God bless, Scott. We are totally pulling for you. And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the Megyn Kelly Show, live on SiriusXM's newly launched, as of today, the Megyn Kelly channel. 111, same place we used to be, but now with a new name. We will be live with the MK Show at noon East on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly and on all podcast platforms.